Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.
Aloha, I'm Shisa Kahaunaile, a former Heekiino student, Kamehameha School's graduate, and a communications political science major at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. For the next half hour, we'll see some of the top Heekiino stories from the winter quarter of the 2015-2016 school year. We'll also see how these stories reflect the values of Generation Z, young people born in 1995 or later. All Heekiino students are a part of Generation Z and are quite different from their older millennial siblings. They were raised in a post-9/11 world, never experienced life before the internet, and came of age during the Great Recession. A national survey showed that Gen Zers are tech-savvy entrepreneurs who are very aware of the world's problems and are looking for practical ways to solve them. They tend to be empathetic to others, socially conscious, are not gender or age biased, and share an affinity with senior citizens. Let's see how students reveal these qualities through their storytelling in HIKI NŌ Generation Z. Our first story shows how people in Generation Z challenge traditional gender roles. For decades, science was a male-dominated field of study, but students at Sacred Hearts Academy on Oahu don't accept that and offer first-hand proof that beakers and Bunsen burners are not just for boys.
I was actually moving around because now I have no idea either. They look exactly the same.
Meet Miss Erin Flynn, a passionate biology and physics teacher at Sacred Hearts Academy.
Dilute hydrochloric acid.
I was that little kid outside running around, picking up rocks looking for salamanders and bugs and digging up worms.
I just want to get us started on the next thing so we don't run out of time.
This past summer, she received the Presidential Award, one of the country's top awards for science teachers.
What would cause it to have less density?
Miss Flynn was one of 2 teachers from Hawaii to be recognized.
I was having people email me saying, oh, I saw on the Honolulu Star Advertiser, this article came out that you won, and I was like, I didn't even know.
The honor came with a trip to Washington, D.C. and meeting the president.
So when I came up, he said, so you must be the other Hawaii lady, and I said, yes, I am. Give a little shout out for our school.
The award might have come as a surprise to Miss Flynn, but not to her students.
Ask me again tomorrow.
I wasn't surprised at all. She's a remarkable teacher. She loves what she does, and that's evident in the way that she's so passionate about biology.
Ms. Flynn is really passionate about what she teaches, and that makes class very enjoyable.
Because this one is supposed to be 2 by 2 by 2, but I know right now it's not. So should we?
As a teacher, she is now nurturing that same love of science, technology, engineering, and math, better known as STEM, in young girls at the Academy.
Wow, what a great opportunity to step into a place where I can have a really huge impact on girls learning science. Because it's true, my experience in a co-ed school, the girls would tend to take the back seat and let the boys do everything, especially in labs.
So write down your observations in your notebook. You're going to want to come back to that later.
Until someone told me that the STEM fields were mostly dominated by men, I hadn't even stopped to consider that because we were always so encouraged to embrace and love the study of science.
It's all thanks to her former science teacher, whose quirky ways help add some spunk to science.
Biology seems like it would be a tiring subject, but she made it very interesting and she applied it to concepts in life.
I really don't know which is which, so we'll see what happens.
But for Miss Flynn, her career as a teacher began with learning many lessons of her own.
In my first year of teaching, where I had students who had gained a reputation in previous years for getting rid of their science teachers. Each night I would go home and I would think, is this the right career choice? Did I do the right thing? Am I in the right field? And I'd say, okay, well, I need to stick it out and go back tomorrow and show them that I'm still here.
Which is why I want everybody wearing gloves.
Despite the challenges, Miss Flynn's mission continues to be inspiring her students to become lifelong learners.
9 by 2 by 2.
I'm pursuing a bachelor's degree in nursing at George Mason University in Virginia. Really learned from her example of the way that she respected all of her students.
My hope for the girls who leave my class is that they go out into the world wanting to learn about what they see around them.
It's this hope that will continue to shine brighter than any plaque or medal ever will. This is Kailaniana Ablog from Sacred Hearts Academy for Heekiino.
It has been said that members of Generation Z have entrepreneurship in their DNA. The following story happens to be about a millennial ukulele virtuoso. But the fact that the Generation Z journalists from Mid-Pacific on Oahu chose to focus their story on his entrepreneurial spirit is very apropos.
In order for you to succeed, you need to be a risk taker.
Mentored by Jake Shimabukuro and Roy Sakuma, Jody Kamisato has a gift which he uses to inspire others.
I think that's part of our mission, is to perpetuate the love of this instrument, the ukulele, and the aloha.
Jody is an ukulele teacher who enjoys what he does, but his career path wasn't always certain.
I kind of fell into music and teaching and performing, and there was a few hurdles in between. From 2002 to 2007, we were teaching as Ukulele Essence, so it was Bruce and I. And then in 2007, another company basically wanted to take over. It would have been really the easy way out for me to just continue doing what I love to do, but basically I would be an employee of this company. Or have the option of starting my own company and my own school. I really had a vision for my school, and ultimately I didn't want to compromise my vision and mission. It was really hard, and it was stressful, and I was like, wow, I gotta make a living, but how am I gonna do this? I talked to a lot of friends, a lot of family, and they said, you have to do what you love to do and really find it in your heart. And don't listen to the people that say you're not gonna make it in music or you're not gonna be successful. And there was something inside me saying, you know what, just do it, Jody. You gotta do it, and if you don't try, you'll never know. So I decided to open my own school in 2007 called Ukulele Hale. Luckily, the students who I was teaching stuck along and supported me, and we went from 45 students over the years to now about 250 students, where we have 5 instructors, including myself.
He knows he made the right decision in his life, following his passion, taking a risk, and persevering.
I'm not making millions of dollars, but I'm excited to come to work,
This is Nicholas Sasagawa from Mid-Pacific for Heekiino.
The children of Generation Z have suffered through the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We are still feeling the effects of that crisis, as 1 in 4 American children lives in poverty. The following story from Waianae Intermediate School in West Oahu shows how pervasive homelessness is within our student population.
So it's 17 through 21.
Waianae Intermediate School, 7th grader, Larenzo Tagura Bear, is a star athlete, an honor roll student, and a leader, when he is not joking around with his friends.
It's a little kid.
For the past 2 years, Larenzo has been entertaining his friends at his after-school home, the Waianae Boys and Girls Club.
When I first moved to Waianae, my mom, over the summer, she put me in the club.
Since becoming a member, Larenzo, like the nearly 4 million students the Boys and Girls Club of America serves, found a place to do homework, hang out, and form friendships.
Larenzo was the vice president for my leadership program for the 10 through 12-year-olds. He was the greatest peer leader for the other kids there. He would come straight from after school and stay until closing.
Because of this dedication and late hours, John Alidi would drop him off to where she thought was his home until
one day I seen him crossing the street.
We had tents, and when it was windy, stormy, we always had to strap down with tape. We always had to build fire whenever to cook food.
The Waianae community has more homeless than anywhere else in the state of Hawaii. Larenzo is just one of the approximately 1.7 million youth who are homeless every year in the nation. It was in here where Larenzo lived with 12 other people.
Being homeless, my mom never really called it homeless. She called it houseless. You don't have much food, but we try. I'm sorry. I used to sleep there, but I chose to stay with my mom because I figured I could help her out a little because she was having a hard time.
Larenzo being homeless was unacceptable for Boys and Girls Club director Lana Keamo.
Your actions gotta speak louder than your words. You gotta show. I cannot just tell the kids I love them and find out that they're homeless and not invite them in.
For the next year, Ms. Keamo provided a home for Larenzo. She believes our country needs to unite to solve the homeless issue.
If every organization in the nation would take in one homeless child, the world would be a much brighter place.
Larenzo has since moved out of Ms. Keamo's residence, and he is no longer homeless. Out of respect for his privacy, we have decided not to reveal where he is living. With homelessness behind him, Larenzo is able to reflect on his experience.
It feels easy. It's not hard for me to get food or to shower, to be clean. I'm just really happy I can have a roof over my head.
This is Amy Nevis from Waianae Intermediate School for HIKI NŌ.
Members of Generation Z tend to be very accepting of people's differences. Conditions that used to be known as disabilities are no longer considered reasons to isolate people from the mainstream. In the following story by Gen Z journalists at Maui High School, a deaf student refuses to be called hearing impaired because she feels that her deafness should not impede her from doing anything her hearing friends can do.
Maui High School junior varsity cheerleader Chantel Sandoval spends her weekends spreading cheer. But what makes this extraordinary is the fact that Chantel is legally deaf. Here is Chantel speaking through an interpreter.
I was just born that way. When my mother gave birth to me, she almost died. And then, I don't know, I became deaf.
Her deafness, however, has not denied her from pursuing her dream of cheering in front of a crowd.
Cheering was something I always wondered about, and I just wanted to know if I could make the team.
However, Chantel's journey to becoming a cheerleader for her school was not an easy one, even with the help of sign language interpreters who helped facilitate communication between Chantel and her coach.
Because anybody else I can yell, point your toes, lift your shoulders, keep your head up, anything like that. But if I try to yell at her to do those things, she doesn't understand, or she doesn't hear me. So that's the biggest thing, is just trying to get her to really understand what I'm saying.
As of recently, hearing her teammates and coaches just became easier, thanks to the help of a cochlear implant, a surgically implanted medical device that provides a sense of sound to a person who is deaf or severely hard of hearing.
Before I got my cochlear, I could still speak for myself, and I used hearing aids, but still, it was still hard for me, and I would miss a lot of the information. And many people would talk and probably speak behind me, and I could understand that.
Since I've got cochlear, I can understand them a little bit more, and my hearing is improving.
While cochlear has made cheering an easier task for Chantel, the negative stigma surrounding deaf people still remains.
Many people feel very awkward, and they avoid deaf people, and they don't offer help like in a store. They tend to just ignore you.
I feel really hurt. I feel like insulted. And just because I'm deaf, it doesn't mean that I'm ignorant.
Though Chantel has to navigate around these obstacles, she embraces the fact that she is deaf.
No, deaf people can do anything. It doesn't matter if they can't hear. Just like hearing people, like, what if they couldn't walk? Or if they couldn't, does that mean they can't do anything? No, they can do anything with a wheelchair. It's the same thing for deaf people. We can't hear, but we can do anything we want.
But Chantel wants to make one thing clear. Do not call her impaired.
Well, I don't like the word impaired. It means something's broken. And I'm not broken, I'm only deaf, and I was born that way. Don't call me hearing impaired, call me deaf.
Chantel Sandoval is living proof that a communication challenge does not have to keep anyone off the sidelines. She plans to continue to spread the Sabre spirit as loud as she can. This is Sydney Green from Maui High School for Heekiino.
Heekiino means can do in Hawaiian, and appropriately, Generation Z is the can-do generation. When a Gen Zer comes across a problem, his or her first impulse is to fix it, often through the use of technology and innovation. The following story from Chief's Kamakahele Middle School on Kauai follows a young woman who did just that.
Haley and her dog Harley have been best friends since Haley was a toddler. Her father wanted her to grow up with not just a pet, but a true companion. I feel good.
I would explain our relationship as special. He's like around the same age and I'm the one who takes care of him. And he's really happy-go-lucky and he gets me.
We took her to the Humane Society and it's one that she really gravitated towards and we felt was a good, friendly dog for her.
Not long after they got him, Haley and her family found out that Harley was diagnosed with canine degenerative myelopathy disease.
Degenerative myelopathy is a disease of the spinal cord of dogs. It's thought to be an inherited problem that occurs in certain breeds of dogs.
Well, when I found out, I was really little, so I didn't really know what it did and how it affected him. But when I got older, I got to researching and I felt bad that it means that he's not going to be able to walk around as much.
Seeing Harley struggle, Haley decided to do something to help her friend.
There you go. There you go. First, I had to research about the disease and how I could help. I got the idea to look for an app that shows me like how much of what I would need and a way I can look at it from a whole bunch of different angles. So I found this app called 123D Design, and it's for building and engineering.
Haley went through trial and error to build this wheelchair, but the finished product worked and affected Harley in many ways.
I built the wheelchair for Harley because I found out that it's a way to better the life of a dog who has this kind of disease. After I built the wheelchair, I saw he got a lot happier, and I think he knows that it's helping him. And so it just makes me feel happy that he's able to run and walk. You wanna get up? You wanna get up?
What happened with the wheelchair is it helped them spend more time together. I think that was what really made her want to do it for the dog, because she would notice that he would get so tired that he would be stuck away and wouldn't be able to even get back to somewhere that he wanted to go.
When I saw how excited he was and how happy he looked while he was walking and running around, I just felt this overwhelming feeling of happiness.
Harley is a big part of the Gokon family and means a lot to Haley as a best friend. Their relationship proves dogs truly are a man's best friend. This is Casey Nakashima from Chief's Kamakahele Middle School for Heekiino.
Members of Generation Z have a great affinity with people from their grandparents' generation and older. The fact that a group of middle schoolers from Kapa'a, Kauai could produce the following story on a retired police officer's battle against prostate cancer with such empathy and sensitivity bears this out.
Joseph Young is a loving grandfather with a passion for bowling. He is also a retired police officer whose biggest battle came after he left the force.
I was diagnosed 3 years ago with prostate cancer, and I was given options to have radiation treatment, do surgery, or don't do anything. I chose not to do anything.
His diagnosis and decision to forego chemotherapy came as a great shock to his family.
Anybody who hears about someone they really love having cancer, I can say would probably feel sad. It was really sad to see how he felt when they gave him the news that he had cancer as well.
It was like, you know, how we're going to say it to the kids, to the children, that their dad and grandpa has cancer.
His doctors prescribed medications to prevent the cancer from spreading and reduce inflammation, but Mr. Young had his own treatment plan, spending more time with his family and doing what he loved.
He would go on his bowling trips with the family, and, you know, basically just spending time together, eating dinners together, spending more quality time together.
He has sore legs a lot, so when I have time, I help massage his feet, and then my mom and I got him massaging machines to help massage his legs and his back area, and we try to help him as much as we can at home.
3 years later, he was declared cancer-free. While he still takes medicine to keep the cancer from recurring, this unexpected turn of events let everyone breathe a sigh of relief.
The recovery for me, it has to do with my willpower to tell myself that this disease will not beat me. I refuse to say that, you know, this disease is going to take my life. I won't accept it, so I fought back.
With 70 years of experience, Mr. Young is determined not to let his medical problems slow him down. He continues to lead an active lifestyle with a positive outlook.
He has a very strong-minded, very strong inner spirit. He encourages others to be strong, and for us to just, you know, count our blessings every day and, you know, just be thankful that he's still here.
Mr. Young always puts family first. This is an important life lesson he feels everyone should know.
They're always there and they're giving me support, and that's a big plus. Enjoy your life, make every moment count, whether it's, you know, having fun out there on the beach, you know, just bowling or doing things you want to do. And look for tomorrow. That's it, and it's gonna, you'll be a survivor. You just keep going.
Because of his loving family and love for life, Mr. Young is forever grateful to be a survivor. This is Raghav Kumar from Kapa'a Middle School for HIKI NŌ.
Social entrepreneurship is not just a buzz phrase for Generation Z. It's a way of life and a calling. The following story by students from Kapa'a High School on Kauai is about a pair of social entrepreneur brothers who are taking their public awareness campaign on the road, literally.
My brother Jason and I are going to run a half marathon.
Are you ready? You think that's 13 miles. That's double what we did.
Ever since high school, Joshua Loretta has wanted to run in a marathon. His younger brother Jason is helping him to fulfill that dream.
We decided to do these runs after being inspired by Dick and Rick Hoyt. He's been actually running with his son who has cerebral palsy in triathlons, marathons, all these different races for a number of years already. My ability, I'm not my disability, highlights someone's capabilities, someone's human abilities. It's a campaign that Josh and I sort of thought about when we decided to run marathons. If a person can't communicate, but they can show how to love, how to laugh, like that's the most important part in life. I think the number one hardship or the number one difficulty for someone with special needs is breaking that barrier that society has, that misconception that because you have special needs or because you have a diagnosis that you are limited to certain things. With my brother, people automatically think that he can't understand what people are saying or that he can't really move about. What people don't understand is that they're all there. They're consciously there. Their cognitive abilities are still there. They just can't maybe speak or walk.
I like to swim and go bowling. I love listening to music.
He likes to just go to the mall and just hanging out at Starbucks or having lunch or just hanging out, doing brotherly things. He comes to my room and wants to sleep in, so he'll tell me to, lay him on my bed and he can sleep in.
You like these? Yeah?
The Illaretta brothers have motivated many people to speak up and share their support for what they are doing.
The boys, the Illaretta brothers, definitely make a difference. They have inspired me. I am so touched by what they do each day, and for them to complete their dream and their accomplishment is amazing.
When asked what message they would give to someone going through similar difficulties, Josh and Jason wanted to tell everyone,
don't give up on their dream and just go for IT.
The moments that you sacrifice, things that you sacrifice for, and the moments you spend with this person, that is making a difference in their lives. That is making their world feel less small.
This is Kiara Weatherington from Kapa'a High School for Heekiino.
Thank you for joining me in this look at some of the best Heekiino stories from the winter quarter of the 2015-2016 school year, and how these stories reflect the values of their makers, the members of Generation Z. I think you'll agree that the generational qualities that these stories reflect, empathy, acceptance, and an entrepreneurial spirit, bode well for that time in the not-too-distant future when Generation Z takes over the reins of leadership for our state, our country, and the world. I, too, am a proud member of Generation Z and the Heekiino generation. I hope I can live up to the great promise and potential expressed in the stories of my generation.
Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.